Imagine a time when monsters roamed the earth, when the fate of entire cities hung by a thread, and when one young man's courage could change the course of history. Welcome to the ancient world of Greece, where myths and legends intertwine with the lives of mortals. Today, we're diving into one of the most gripping tales ever told, the epic showdown between Theseus, a brave prince of Athens, and the fearsome Minotaur, a creature so terrifying it struck fear into the hearts of all who heard its name. This is not just a story of a battle. It's a story of sacrifice, bravery, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. So, gather around, and let's journey back to a time when heroes were born from the darkest of challenges. In the heart of ancient Greece, a terrible curse weighed heavily on the city of Athens. King Minos of Crete, a powerful ruler from a distant island, was consumed by grief and rage after the death of his beloved son, Androgeus. On Athenian soil, seeking revenge, he imposed a horrifying tribute on Athens. Every 9 years, 14 young Athenians, 7 maidens and 7 young men, were chosen to be sent to Crete. Their fate was grim. They were to be sacrificed to a monstrous beast known as the Minotaur, trapped within a deadly maze called the Labyrinth. This was no ordinary creature. The Minotaur was a half-man, half-bull monster, born from a cursed union between Pasiphae, King Minos' wife, and a magnificent white bull sent by the sea god Poseidon as a divine punishment. Poseidon had cursed Pasiphae to fall in love with the bull when Minos failed to honor a promise to the god. From this unnatural bond came the Minotaur, a beast with the body of a man but the head and strength of a bull, its appetite satisfied only by human flesh. To contain this horrifying creature, King Minos commanded the brilliant inventor Daedalus to construct the labyrinth, a maze so intricate and confusing that no one who entered could ever hope to escape. Its walls stretched high, blocking out the sun, and its twisting corridors seemed to shift and change, trapping its victims in endless darkness. Deep within this prison, the Minotaur roamed, waiting for its next meal. For years, the young Athenians were sent to their doom, lost in the maze's shadowy paths, until the beast hunted them down. Twice before, black-sailed ships had carried Athens' youth to Crete, never to return. The cries of grieving families echoed through the city, and the weight of this curse grew heavier with each passing year. But when the time came for the third tribute, a spark of hope emerged in the form of a young prince named Theseus. Barely 20 years old, Theseus was already known across Athens for his unmatched bravery and fierce determination. He could not bear to watch his people suffer any longer. One fateful morning he stood before his father, King Aegeus, in the grand hall of the palace. Aegeus, an old man with hair as white as snow and a face lined with worry, sat upon his throne, his heart heavy with the burden of his kingdom. Theseus spoke with a voice full of resolve. "Father, we cannot allow our young people to die like this. I will go to Crete as part of the tribute. I will face the Minotaur and end this curse once and for all." Aegeus rose from his throne, his eyes wide with fear. "No, my son, it is certain death. No one has ever returned from the labyrinth alive." But Theseus stood firm. "That is exactly why I must go. If I don't try, how many more will perish? I cannot stand by while our people suffer." After hours of heated debate, Aegeus realized he could not sway his son's decision. His heart ached, but he knew Theseus' spirit was unbreakable. The night before the departure, father and son shared a quiet moment under the stars. Aegeus placed a trembling hand on Theseus' shoulder and made a pact. "If you return alive, my son, let your ship raise white sails to signal your victory. But if you fall," his voice broke as tears welled in his eyes, "let black sails tell me I have lost my only child." Theseus nodded, promising to honor his father's wish, though the weight of those words pressed heavily on his heart. The journey to Crete was long and filled with sorrow. The other 13 young Athenians wept openly, knowing the fate that awaited them. But Theseus remained silent, his mind racing with plans and strategies to face the beast. The sea stretched endlessly before them, and the black sails of their ship fluttered ominously in the wind. After days of travel, they arrived at the grand palace of King Minos in Crete. The air was thick with tension, and the young Athenians were led to their holding cells like prisoners awaiting execution. But something unexpected happened that night. Ariadne, the beautiful daughter of King Minos, caught sight of Theseus among the captives. She was struck by his courage and determination, even in the face of certain death. Unable to bear the thought of more innocent lives lost, she made a daring decision. Under the cover of darkness, she crept to where the prisoners were held and approached Theseus. Her voice was a whisper as she spoke. "I want to help you. I cannot stand by and watch more deaths." Theseus, wary of betrayal, narrowed his eyes. "Why should I trust you?" Ariadne met his gaze with sincerity. "Because I know how you can survive the labyrinth." From beneath her cloak, she produced two precious gifts, a ball of golden thread and a sharp, gleaming sword. "Tie this thread at the entrance of the labyrinth," she instructed. "It will guide you back when the time comes." Its hooves left deep marks in the stone floor, and its bull's head bore horns as sharp as daggers, each over 1/2 meter long. Its red eyes burned with hunger and rage, and the stench of death clung to its fur. Before Theseus could react, the monster caught his scent. Their eyes locked, and the Minotaur let out a deafening roar that echoed through the labyrinth. Then, it charged. Theseus dove to the side just in time, narrowly avoiding the beast's horns as they crashed into the wall behind him, shattering stone as if it were mere clay. "Come for me, beast!" Theseus shouted, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. What followed was a battle of sheer brutality. The Minotaur attacked with unimaginable force, each swing of its massive arms or thrust of its horns capable of crushing a man in an instant. Theseus dodged and weaved, striking with his sword whenever an opening appeared, but it felt like fighting a storm. Sweat poured down his face, and his arms ached from the weight of the blade. He landed several cuts on the monster's thick hide, drawing dark blood, but nothing seemed to slow the creature down. The Minotaur bled from dozens of wounds, yet continued its relentless assault, driven by a primal fury. In a moment of desperation, Theseus stumbled over a loose stone, losing his balance. The Minotaur seized the opportunity, charging forward with terrifying speed. One of its horns grazed his shoulder, tearing through flesh and sending a wave of searing pain through his body. Theseus gritted his teeth, refusing to let go of the sword. "For Athens!" he cried, channeling his pain into strength. With every ounce of his remaining energy, he thrust the magical blade deep into the Minotaur's chest, piercing its heart. The beast staggered back, its red eyes widening in shock for the first time. It tried to roar, but only a gush of blood spilled from its mouth. Finally, with a shuddering groan, the Minotaur collapsed to the ground, lifeless. Theseus could barely stand. His shoulder throbbed, blood dripping down his arm, and his entire body screamed with exhaustion. But he was alive. Using the golden thread as his guide, he retraced his steps through the maze, each movement a struggle. When he finally emerged from the labyrinth, the other young Athenians stared in disbelief. Wounded but victorious, Theseus had done the impossible. Ariadne rushed to his side, her hands trembling as she bandaged his wounds. "You did it," she whispered, awe in her voice. "But we must leave now, before my father discovers what has happened." Under the cover of night, they stole a ship from the harbor and set sail from Crete, Ariadne joining them as Theseus had promised. Their escape, however, was not without tragedy. On their journey back, they stopped to rest on the island of Naxos. That night, the god Dionysus, the deity of wine, appeared to Theseus in a dream. He commanded Theseus to leave Ariadne on the island, for the gods had chosen her as a bride for Dionysus himself. Heartbroken but bound by divine will, Theseus obeyed. He left Ariadne sleeping peacefully on the shore and sailed away before dawn. The pain of abandoning her weighed heavily on him, so much so that he forgot to change the black sails of his ship to white ones, as he had promised his father. When King Aegeus, watching from a cliff in Athens, saw the ship approaching with black sails. He believed his son had perished. Overcome with grief, he threw himself into the sea below, ending his life in despair. That sea has since been called the Aegean Sea in his honor. Theseus returned to Athens as a hero, but the cost of his victory was immense. He had freed his people from the horrific tribute, but he had lost his father and the woman who had risked everything to help him. Theseus ascended to the throne as king of Athens, and under his rule, the city flourished. He established fair laws, protected the weak, and turned Athens into a beacon of strength and justice. Over the years he embarked on countless adventures, battling fierce Amazons, hunting monstrous creatures, and even journeying to the underworld. Yet none of his feats ever surpassed the importance of his victory in the Labyrinth. That day, a young prince faced his deepest fears and altered the destiny of his people forever. The story of Theseus and the Minotaur became a legend, passed down through generations, told around flickering fires on quiet nights. Parents shared it with their children to teach a timeless lesson. Even the most terrifying monsters can be defeated with courage, cleverness, and determination. Though centuries have passed, and many now question whether the Minotaur or the Labyrinth ever truly existed, the heart of the story endures. It reminds us that sometimes, to save others, we must confront our own monsters, no matter how daunting they may seem. Theseus' tale is more than a myth. It's a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a single act of bravery can light the way for generations to come. So, the next time you face a challenge that seems insurmountable, remember Theseus, the young prince who stepped into the unknown and emerged a hero. What monsters will you face, and how will you overcome them?